funny. People are like, okay, we're live. Hello, everybody. We are live. And well, this is Media Monday.
Yay!
Live Media Monday, and I've got Barbara with me. Listen, we're going to be talking about books. Books are definitely part of the Marquise Icon program because you need a book to up your fame level. And so I'm always talking to people about their books, their new books, their next books, get it out there, get it done. And so I wanted to open it up to book experts, and I wanted you guys to be able to ask questions. So here's how we play on Facebook. So number one, we have a Facebook group called the Marquise Icon group. So when I'm looking down, I'm looking at my phone so I can keep track of you guys. So you can join the Marquise Icon group. And the reason why you want to join the group is because that's where we have some special goodies. That's where you can meet Barbara later. You can ask her questions. You can get some one-on-one, and you can really, make some things happen. Also, we're going to be networking inside the group. So inside the group is where you can meet people. I call it biz dev. We're not only going to share our Facebook pages and like each other's pages for networking, but we're also going to share what we can do for people and what we need. Here's the deal. And this is, I love the way Lyric said it last week. People who over deliver have a really hard time asking for what they need.
Yes, absolutely.
So I want you guys to get in the habit of asking for what you need, asking for what you're looking for, not just the kind of customers you're looking for. Of course, you want to talk about customers and clients, but are you doing something in your business? For example, we're looking for photographers for Wright Place and for Marquise Icon. We're looking for ambassadors for the Marquise Icon program, if you might be interested in that. So those are the kinds of things we're going to talk about. So we're going to do that during a special segment I call Biz Dev, that's business development. So that's going on. So number one, if you're watching and you had a great time with Lyric last week, please share it with your friends. Let them know. Share that this is going on. We're Facebook Live now. We're live. We're live and we're going at it. We're going at it. We're going to talk. We're going to share. I'm going to answer your questions. And I do have a couple more guests planned. I don't see them here yet. So we're going to start with who we got to start with, which means we're starting with books. So I'm going to let Barbara take a little bit of time to introduce herself, to share what she's going to do. I'm going to get the room ready for Biz Dev when you're ready to take a break. So, and then Barbara, if you do have slides, doesn't mean you have to have slides, but if you do, let me know. I'll be happy to make it visible to everybody. There's a lot we can do. But
sure, now you tell me.
Yes, yeah. Now I tell you. But she's a delightful person, and if you're trying to figure out your book stuff, get with an expert. Stop trying to figure it out yourself. So I'm going to give you the prompt.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about business books and a little background on me, because as a kid, I started out writing as a little kid, and everyone always says, "Oh, that's great, but you're not going to make any money at that," which is, you can't make money as an artist. You're going to starve, blah, 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 blah. And so I did a little bit of writing in the 80s, and I always wrote for whatever job I had. And then about 10 years or maybe 12 years ago, a friend of mine, Chris Kremitzos, came to me, and he had written a manual for real estate. And the way that Chris wrote at that time, because I worked with him, everything was like bold print and 16 font and exclamation points all the way. He must have had like rows of exclamation points. I'm like, darn, he's excited. So he said, he says, "Barb, you write, don't you?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Could you fix my book for me?" So I said, "Sure." And I worked on that manual for him. And then somebody heard that I had done that. They said, "Can you help me with mine?" And then it was just all word of mouth. So over the past 10 or 12 years, I've written over 50 books, courses, manuals, plus ebooks. And I've edited books. I've edited books for like real people, like New York Times bestsellers. So, and if you want, we'll get in a little bit about becoming a best-selling writer, because that seems to be what everybody likes. But what happened was,
we definitely have to talk about becoming a New York Times bestseller, and just the differences between different bestsellers and what
Yes.
people are really getting. Because I think people are mistaken about what's
Yes.
happening. As long as you know what's happening, it's all good. As long as you know
Yes.
what's happening for your book, it's all
Absolutely.
good. Don't get caught up in a cycle thinking you're making X happen when you're not. So
Thank you.
definitely come back to that. Go ahead. Okay.
Okay, good. We'll circle back. So I started writing books for people, and because it takes me so long to ghostwrite a book, and because my fees are getting hefty. When I first started out, I had no idea what to charge, and it turns out that I still don't charge enough. So that's really good. I don't charge enough. But, you know, not everybody can afford to have a book ghostwritten for themselves. So I ended up building a course about how to write your book in 90 days because everybody wants it fast. And the thing that I really stress is that I think everybody who has their own business, if they're a coach, a consultant, a trainer, if they're a small business person, you need a book. And it might not have to be the absolute be-all and end-all authority book, which is maybe something you work up to, but you need some sort of book that puts you out there. They say that the book is a new business card. And quite frankly, I had a marketing person say to me, does everybody in the Tampa Bay area have a book? I said, yes, they do. And they all stink, okay? Because they're crap. And what happened was
they all stink. Oh my goodness.
Well, not all of them, but so many of them stink because everyone's so concerned with putting out a book, but nobody's concerned with putting out a quality book. And that's my concern. I see so many people that just rush to print, and they actually, you know, my first book that I self-published, I hold up in my seminars now when I talk about self-publishing is what not to do, because really, it's really not laid out, and these are the things you learn along the way. But most people who are on the ball, the ones who want to be leaders, have a book or they've got a book in some stage because they know that they can use it really to up their profile. I was looking.
That's it. We're trying to up your profile. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Up your profile. You guys have to listen to just how important that is. And just to interrupt you,
go ahead.
Pamela Stone is online, so she's saying hi. And Sharon Parker's online, and she is saying hi. So I just want to let you know. You guys, if you're digging this, give us some thumbs up and give us some hearts. Let her know she's on track. She is totally on track. Give her that encouragement. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And you know, I still can't figure this stuff out with my phone, so you just gonna help me out there. Okay, so does everyone in business need a book? Yes, but they might not need the be-all, end-all book. You do need a book as some sort of lead generator, which I'm an Amazon best-selling author. I sold 11 copies.
See, that's what I talk about. I said, look, there's nothing wrong with being an Amazon bestseller, but don't you want to make money on the book?
Exactly.
And so the point of being a bestseller is awesome, but I know people who have never been bestsellers, but their books make money year after year after year, and that's what we're going for. And people know who they are. And a well-written book will get you on TV, will get you on radio shows, will get you on podcasts, will get them writing about you, will get them interviewing you.
Huge.
A poorly written book gets out like for a hot second, and then what happens? Tell them what happens.
Oh my gosh, if it's a poorly written book, everybody knows you stink. Okay. And I mean, you can't take it back. It's out there. And it's out there. It's in print.
I take it back. Give me those pages back. I take it back.
Yeah. Let me put it back in my mouth. What happens is people they really need a book, but they don't take the time. I picked up a book the other day. It was like 40 pages and it's called a book. It's like, that's not a book. Okay. Now I had a book that I did.
So let's just stop for a minute and really digest that. Here's the thing. Kindle has these new books that are 40 pages. You can put them together and boom, boom, boom. So is there a right way to use that? Is there, because what comes to mind is when the one time, and he only did it once, so that tells me something too. Stephen King, I'm a Stephen King fan, and no, I did not read it, and I'm not going to.
I'm not going to. He scares me.
Yeah, I have a limit. I'm good, but I have a limit. He wrote The Green Mile came out in these short bookstores
Yes.
over the summer. And so when I think about the 40-page Kindle books, I think about that. But
Yes.
I'm not clear that you can really take the 40-page book and have the big impact. So what's the best use of that in your opinion?
The best use for that little 40-pager is to use it as a lead gen. And actually, I put out a lead gen book called 21 Online and Offline Marketing something strategies. I wrote a book, and I put it up on Kindle, and that's a short book. It's a lead generation book.
Okay.
And I put it up there, and then I forgot about it. I forgot to hit publish. And I'm like, I'm not making any royalties from that book. Duh. So I went on to check it on a Saturday, and I went, oh, I forgot to hit publish. So I hit publish, and then I posted on Facebook. I'm like, oh man, I'm total brain. You know what? I forgot to hit publish on this book, and I had a picture of the cover. It's like, so here's my new book, and it just kind of took off because Bob Berg.
Yes, I do know Bob Berg. He's very cool.
He's very cool. I got the Bob Berg bump. He's like, my friend Barbara wrote a book. I'm like, Bob, not this book. Save it when I get a really good book, So I ended up going up the charts as an Amazon bestseller. But those short books are really great for lead gen, and they're really great to use as a no-cost book or a 99-cent book to get people to your website. So what you want to do with that is you want to have links within the book to get them to your website. You want to have freebies in there to get them to your website. Everything in that book should be pulling people to your website. That's all you want that book to do. So it's usually an overview. You're not going to do a deep dive in 40 pages. You're not going to give people everything they need. You want to get them to your website with that book. Now, what you could do with the 40-pager books is you could also do a series. So you could do a deep dive. And that's really cool because you can build up your sales. The first one's the overview, and say, next in the series is this on this particular thing. It's a deep dive. And then shift them all the way down, which is kind of fun. So that's a cool little book.
That sounds excellent. We really need to think, everybody needs to think through their strategy and not do the same thing everybody else is doing. And that's right. I always stress in the Marquise Icon program. We do something different, and I bring you to experts that get the results without doing the same old crap that everybody's doing. Everybody's doing it. Everybody.
I know. And here's
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I get so ticked off, and here's where my marketing changed, because I realized I was very much, you want to have a quality book, and you want to really put your heart and soul into it, and nobody cared. They just wanted to be a best-selling author. So what's that old saying? Sell them what they need, but sell them what they want, but give them what they need. And so I had to change my marketing strategy to say, here's how you become a best-selling author. And for Amazon, it's really easy to be a Amazon best-selling author. You can game that system so easily. I've got a little video on it on my site. So it's it's that type of thing. Tell
everybody what your site is. Later on, number one, we got some helpers who will write it out for you. Ron Miner is on. Michael
Hi, Ron.
Is on. So we've got some helpers that will type it out for you. So go ahead, give it to them. And later on, not right this second, you guys stay because we are going to do a little biz dev going on in a minute. We're going to take a break. Good. But she's got some good stuff on the site. So give them the site, and then we can have that for reference.
Cool. Okay, we'll do that. What else? Did you want to get into the bestseller stuff? You tell me what you would like.
I do, because, it looks like we have more time than I thought we were going to have. So I'd love for you to get into the bestseller stuff, because we know that. I mean, I would love to have a bestseller, but I'm a little old fashioned. I also
want to earn it.
My book. Yeah.
Yes, I know. I understand completely. And one of the things I see really smart people have a problem with is you get out marketed by people who either can throw more money at it, or maybe they use gray or black hat things, and hey, you get a black hat on. Is that a black hat? But you can, my gray fedora is over there.
I got gray and white, so I'm a little black hat, little white hat, little gray hat.
I think I got khakis somewhere. Sometimes you get out marketed by people who aren't as expert as you are, and that's a really frustrating thing. And so for me, I was watching somebody charge $4,000 for a weekend seminar to become an Amazon best-selling author. And so I watched the webinar long enough to figure out what the heck he was doing. And basically, you're using the Kindle pre-release program. So, and here's the thing that got me was he kept saying, and you don't even have to have a book. And I'm
wait. I got to stop you there. You can be an Amazon bestseller without a book? So not even, maybe he meant workbook. He must have meant you could do it with a workbook.
Nope. It was before your book was even written. You could have it up on Amazon and get it to start clicking through the rankings and actually get it to bestseller doing a pre-release, which means that people buy your book before it's released, and then you release it 3 months later. So you better come up with the book really fast, right? And I don't know quite how that works as far as being a bestseller.
Let me just interrupt you for a second. I do know someone who has a bestseller that was a bestseller, but it was a bestseller on New York Times.
That's different.
Right before it came out, because it got these great reviews.
Yes.
And it kind of looked like what you said, but it wasn't quite what you said, because this book was, it's Simon & Schuster. It was a big.
Yes. And let's talk about New York Times bestseller, because you can game the system at Amazon. It's very easy. And really, it's a matter of putting yourself in a niche where there's not a lot of competition and getting, 10 or 20 sales to move you up there. And what happens in the pre-release is the day that the book is released, all those sales tally up and it's like an instant bestseller. It's really not that tough. But New York Times, you cannot game that system, with one exception that I've heard of, okay? And she got caught. New York Times gets their numbers from brick and mortar bookstores. So it's actual bookstores selling books. So you're gonna have to go and buy copies of your book if you want to make the New York Times bestseller. And apparently this girl did. She must have invested several $100,000 to buy the books in bulk. And that was a pre-release. Before they were shipped, she put in bulk orders from various bookstores. And when it was released, she hit the New York Times bestseller list, because you can actually do that with about, depending on the season, depending on the week, depending on what else is being released that week, I think she did it with about 8,000 book sales. So you can game the system, but it's really, really expensive. And as you said, I'm old-fashioned. I would rather earn bestseller status than cheat my way to bestseller status. And as I said, she got caught. So now she just looks like a doofus, because she is a doofus. So, yeah.
Plus, honestly, you buy 8,000 of your books at $20 a pop. I mean, that's basically, she invested $20,000, $25,000, because she probably got
she went like 160,000.
Yeah, and she didn't leave her area like 60 miles in the area. Instead of have your friends somewhere else buy the book. Anyway,
I know, it was huge. And so, I mean, that's how you game the system. I have seen some really neat marketing ideas. Probably the best launch I saw, and James Altucher did it. I think he used Brass Key for the distribution for the launch, which is not cheap. They're expensive. But I loved his launch because he said, buy my book. And I think it was on sale for like $5 or something. And when you get towards the end of the book, there'll be a question. Send me an email. It will have my email address. Answer the question and show me your Amazon receipt, and I'll give you the $5 back. So people were buying the book because they were going to get their $5 back anyway. And of course, you read the book, and it was Choose Yourself, and it was a great book. I don't think more than 30% of the people asked for their money back. I think most of the people.
That's a very interesting strategy. We'll have to.
It's huge.
That. But you have to be ready, because here's the thing. I bet that his tribe is the tribe that thinks the time that it takes for me to get this receipt, answer this question, turn it in, that's $5. That's time out of my life I can't get back, and it's worth way more than $5.
Right, exactly. And the book was it was a full-on book that had a lot of great ideas in it. So I think he gives the numbers. He did an entire blog post that was huge that gave all the numbers and all the stats from that launch. And it was a great way to go because even though he was giving $5 back to some of the people, it was priced at the point where he was making a 70% royalty anyway. So he was only losing 30% per book on those books that he paid back. It was a great launch strategy. So there's a number of different ways you can launch your book and actually get the sales, whether you're doing a free giveaway for the first 3 to 5 days, or if you're doing a special 99¢. And there's even places that will do downloads, companies that actually go and they've got people that love to read. You pay them a certain amount of money and they will download the book. And actually they don't, some are more black hat. They actually have the people download the book, whether they're going to read it or not. Others send out to people that they know will like that type of book, and the people can choose whether or not they download it or not. But there's companies out there that will do those for you, that will get you up there in the rankings on Amazon. And so it's really not hard to become an Amazon best-selling author. But the thing is, you want to make money either on your book or with your book. And you can make a whole lot more money with your book. Royalties are great, but if you have affiliate links in your book, if you're sending people to your website, if you're getting them excited about your program, that's where the royalty is. You make, I'm getting muted and unmuted.
One second, we're having some sort of challenge here. I'm having a challenge. Sadly, I can't hear you, Barbara. So,
oh no. Where'd you lose me?
1 second. I'm not sure what happened. What happened?
You
Okay.
muted me and unmuted me, so. Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you, so I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what happened. So this is kind of
Check
tough.
your,
All right, let me see for 1 second, Barbara.
Mhm.
We'll get the last of that. That was pretty good. Even if you can't hear Barbara, that was good. I don't know if, wow. Okay, you can hear me though, huh? Shake your head.
I can
up.
hear you.
Me. You can hear me. I can't hear you. So I'm gonna tell you what, the camera's on you. So go ahead and keep going until I figure out what's happening.
Okay, I don't know if everybody can hear me or not. So if you can hear me, can you type that into the comments? Let Letitia know that you can hear me, which would be fantastic. Okay, so we're talking about writing a book and fame and fortune, and is writing a book the quick way to fame and fortune? And the answer is no, it's really not. Otherwise, I'd be famous and rich, but you've never heard of me, have you? So there you have it. Or maybe you have, thank you. Writing a book is the best way to become famous because it gets you noticed. If you're looking for speaking gigs, hello. If you're looking for speaking gigs and there's a choice between you and somebody else, and you have a book and the other person doesn't, hello. If you're looking for speaking, we're getting feedback on yours. There we go, it's gone. All gone, just went right out of my head. If you're going for a speaking gig and you have a book and the other person doesn't, the event promoter is going to choose you. And the reason for that is because, one, they can read your book or skim through it and quantify you, whether or not you know your stuff. The second thing is, it makes a really great visual. If you're holding your book on the stage, you have more authority. If they put a graphic of your book in the promo material, you have more authority. So they're always going to take somebody with a book over somebody without a book. You want to have that book ready to go. I like to use books as lead gens. I also like to use books for training. If you're a coach or a consultant and you're looking to have a companion piece to help your clients, why not make a workbook for them? You're probably using handouts and worksheets and things like that. You probably have guidelines that you give them from time to time. If you assemble it all into a book, and that can be a spiral bound book, which I love to do, it's great for them. And you have a book. It really makes a difference to people. So I like doing that. So is it a quick way to fame and fortune? No, but it's going to give you a leg up on fame and fortune. I like to use the example of Brene Brown, who was really more of a researcher. And she wrote a book about the techniques and practices that she was using, the ones that she thought were working well. And then she got a TEDx talk from that. Well, being able to do a TEDx talk was pretty darn hot. But the TEDx talk, of course, led to Oprah. And if you hit Oprah, then you have hit the jackpot. So you're hearing that, aren't you? So, I mean, not everybody's going to get invited by Oprah to be on the show. Not everyone's going to get a TEDx talk, but if you don't have the book to start with, you're not going to get that opportunity. You can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket, which is why I'll probably never win the lottery. But I do have books, and that is a way to just put yourself out there and to get yourself known. So can you hear me now, Letitia? No, not at all.
I just have something weird going on that I can't hear Barbara, and I can't turn it on the phone because then it's echoing. So I'm going to just let you go ahead and take over. Go ahead and talk some more about just the whole process. Of
writing a book?
A little bit about what do they need to be ready, or how do they need to be ready to work with a professional like yourself? In other words, I know I need some help with my book. I'm not going to sit alone in the dark and just try to type this stuff up. How do I come to you prepared so that you can help me?
Okay. One of the things we do is I do strategy sessions with people who aren't quite sure. They don't know if their topic is the right topic. They don't know where to start or the way to organize their book. So I'll sit and do an hour strategy session, which usually runs long because I like to talk, and there you have it. So a strategy session just to get you set and centered. But if you're writing a book, one of the things I like to do at the beginning is to do a brain dump, and it's everything I know on the topic. And the brain dump can take place over the course of a few days or even a week, where I just keep adding to my list. Now, I'm a pen and paper gal. Some people like to do mind maps on the computer. Some people like to just type on the computer. I'm a pen and paper gal, and I'm also left-handed. So when I write, I always have ink right here just from writing. Yeah, left-handed people know this, know the pain. And I just write down every idea, whether it's good or bad, about the topic. And from there, I start organizing it into chapters. The second thing I do as far as organizing the chapters is I sit there, and if it's a process, I really do have to go back and go step by step. How does this work? I do a lot in the real estate field, real estate investing, and that's really where I got my start. And to sit there and say, okay, I want a book on wholesaling. Well, if you're going to wholesale real estate, what do you need to know? Well, first of all, you're going to need to know your market, because you need to know what the retail prices of properties are. You're going to need to know cost of rehabbing. You're going to need to know other investors. So how are you going to find those other investors? You're going to need to know how to negotiate. So you get those big topics going, and then you start putting the ideas under them. So some people will do big flip chart sheets. Some people will do index cards where they have one idea per card, which is kind of fun because it reminds me of the old card game Concentration, where you go looking for matching cards. You can color code them. You can do whatever you want. Some people do sticky notes, just different colors of sticky notes, and stick them all over the place, which I love. I don't use them, but I just have sticky notes all over the place. So maybe I do my entire, I have sticky notes on sticky notes on sticky notes. There'll be like 6 in a row. But some people do their books that way. They have one idea per sticky note. I like to do it. I tend to outline. And when I was a kid, and when I was a kid in school, and the teacher said you had to outline something, I was like, oh no, I have to outline. I hated outlining. And then I
think that outlining only really comes like that. I used outlining when I had to write papers for school that would be like medical papers. Then all the stuff I learned in outlining was like, oh yeah, I remember all that. But just regular life, I don't think so. Let me just share with you what they're sharing in the feed before you go further. Number one, I want to thank Angela Leonard for getting on. Sharon Parker says, I wrote a book.
Hello.
Had a conference to promote my book.
Good.
And had an official book launch. Awesome. Got about 50 sales, and now I need to create a good press release, not good word of mouth, to sell a book. And Tanya Hughes just joined. Thank you, Tanya, for joining. Sharon says, need media interviews, TV, radio. What is the best approach? So number one, I'll come back and talk to you about TV, radio interviews and what's the best approach in that. But
yes, thank you.
What I want you to share with her, Barbara, is that, I mean, if you write a book and you're at a conference and you sell 50, Like, what else can people do? Because that's all people know. I'm launching my book. I'm launching my book. I'm so sick of the word launch. That should be retired.
Yes, thank you.
What else can we do with our books?
Okay, well, the book itself is, it depends on what you want the book to do or what the book does for your client. So she had a conference to launch the book. I don't know if that was like a 3-day seminar or if she just spoke at a conference. If your goal is to sell books in order to get more clients, then I would be out there speaking every chance I get and holding that book up and selling it at the back of the room. Or better yet, if the book itself is a lead generator, then go and offer to give the book to every attendee, sell it to the organizers at a bulk price. You know, my book normally sells for $20. If you've got 100 attendees, you can get them for $10 or 50 attendees, whatever. So you're getting the book out there. If that's what the book is supposed to do for you. If you're looking for book sales, you really need to work it. And that's, a lot of it is either the free or the reduced giveaway period. You've got to get the downloads. If you're doing an ebook on Amazon, then the download period is important because all those downloads, even if they're free or 99 cents, click you up in the rankings. And that's why people do it. So if you get up enough in the rankings, then other people notice you and it starts to get that domino effect going. It's not easy. There are companies that will do that for you and you pay good money for it. And it depends on your budget. If I had a $100,000 budget, I would just hand it off to Brass Key and say, launch my book, because it's hard work. The marketing of a book is as much work as writing the book. So
say that again.
The marketing of a book is as hard as writing the book. And for me, I think it's harder because writing's easy for me.
She added to it to say it was a 2-day conference. It was a leadership book that's 200 pages. So I guess the question, Sharon, was this your conference? Were you just a speaker at the conference? If you could share that information, that would help her.
That would help, yeah.
And give you some more ideas. And the hard work is in the marketing. To me, if you've written the book, that's just part of it. You've got to, it's so there's a little bit of a gap between you and I talking and what actually, happens on Facebook. So while we're waiting for her to get back to tell us a little bit more about the 2-day conference so you can give her better things, let me just say this about media. So the thing is that you do want media, you do want to be on radio, you do want blogs talking about you, you do want to be interviewed. The challenge is that people get on the media and they want to do sales. Yes. And no media wants you to get on and do a giant commercial for your book. They want to have a discussion about a good topic, and you put the information out there that, hey, I wrote this great book. You don't put the information out there that, hey, Dr. Wright, did you know XYZ and XYZ? Your tribe is interested in XYZ.
Exactly.
I like this to someone. If your tribe is lions and they eat meat, your book better be about meat. Don't write a book about vegetables and then say, Barbara, I got a book about vegetables.
Barbara doesn't like vegetables.
The other thing is you got to do your homework. You got to know who you're talking to in the media and if they're even a good fit for you.
Yes, exactly.
That's the thing with media. And you need some media training because we have this very low bar. Everybody can do Facebook Live, YouTube. Everybody can do Periscope. Everybody can do everything. There's a very low bar. Guess what? It doesn't make you a good guest on a show. And so you've got to learn sound bites. You've got to learn how to talk and listen. You've got to learn how to adjust to whoever you're sitting with. I've seen people just sit there and because they're speakers, they try to take their speaking skill into media. And so they're sitting there with the interviewee trying to go through their speech. And God forbid somebody stop them, ask a question or go a different direction because they're trying to get back to that point in the speech. And you can see it in their eyes.
Oh, yeah. They have to get back. Yeah.
Back to that point. So there's a lot that goes into media training. I dare say people don't spend enough time in that because if you become a media darling, the show will use you over and over and over again. And who knows where that can go. Ask Dr. Phil.
Yeah. And don't forget, you have to make the host look good.
Right.
A really good host is working on making the guest look good. So if you're both working to make the other person look good, it's going to be a great show. And that was probably the genius of somebody like Johnny Carson was you could and probably one of the reasons why comics are not good hosts for the most part is because comics always have to get the laugh. And it's really hard to pull yourself back and not go for that. When you're the guest, you want to be charming and funny. When you're the host, you want to allow them to be charming and funny. And then, you keep adding to each other. And that's one of the beautiful things. I think media training is so important. Even, I think a lot of people aren't prepared, like when you're on TV, that you're sitting this close to each other. It's like, did not know our knees were going to be touching for an interview, right?
Depends on the set, but it can happen. But also the other thing is that your time can be cut down. So people get very thrown off. They're into their speech and they've been told they're going to be on a half-hour show, and then something horrible happens, like what happened in the news yesterday in Las Vegas. Guess what? Everybody that has an interview last night and today, their time got short if they're not talking about what happened in Las Vegas.
Exactly.
And so you're not able to take your message down to 5 minutes because that's all you're going to get now. You're out of luck if you're trying to tell a whole long story and cram it into 5 minutes. So the media training will do that for you, because you're going to have your versions of what you're trying to say. And then the other thing is that be gracious if you get bumped. I find people coming to a studio and they talk to everybody nasty, but then they want to talk to the host all nice. And one of the things that I used to do back in the day. Now I come to the studio dressed, but I would come, with my clothes, towing boxes and clothes and my jeans and a t-shirt. And I guess people wouldn't recognize me. And they, one lady was just like, I said, hi. She said,
oh my.
I was like, wow, okay, whatever. So I went in, changed my clothes, did everything. By that time, the rest of the guests had come, and I went in there and I said, okay, I'm Dr. Wright, head of the Right Place TV show. This is how things are going to go. And the one lady was laughing. I guess she was, I don't know what her deal was, but she sounded like to the point that the guests were like, what are you smoking? So
she was like,
I think she was just like, oh my gosh, I want to take a hold of it. So
exactly
that in the studio life, the most important person is usually not dressed up in a suit. So you got to have your manners, and if you get bumped, be gracious, leave your card and say, hey, if you need a last person, let me know. Most people get so crazy when they get bumped that the people are like, when you leave, they're just throwing your stuff in the garbage because they don't want to deal with that level. Okay, so Sharon was able to come back and say, it was my conference. It's called True Synergy Works, Leading Within. Held the conference in June, and it was my 5th year holding the leadership conference. And then she said, great points, Dr. Wright. I need to learn how to be conversational first. First book, gotta learn, really need media training. Great. Hello, Catherine Tyson. Catherine Tyson is in the most beautiful place in the world. She's
where?
Grand Cayman. And she's such a go-getter. She's just this amazing woman who you guys need to know. But when I went to visit her, I was like, if I was born here, you would have never heard of me because I would have never left.
It is so beautiful there. I hit Grand Cayman 3 times one summer, and it was our day in Grand Cayman. I was on a boat.
Yeah, it was just
it's beautiful.
That's just the most beautiful place. So she also has a television show. That's one of the reasons why we're good friends. She has an amazing show all down in the islands. And
so we have to go there to be on her show?
Yeah, you have to go there to be on her show.
I'm your biggest fan.
Okay? Yes. Everybody wants to be on Catherine's show.
Exactly.
I thank God did not get hit, very bad by what. So they're doing really well there. And her show is also seen in Florida and New York, Miami and New York. So she has a very big following. So the fact that she's on is super awesome. Thank you so much for supporting me, sis. I appreciate that. But yeah, you have to suffer and go to Grand Cayman. It's amazing. Best time ever. She's such a gracious host. And most of my friends are. All of my friends around the world are gracious hosts, I gotta say. But
you
anyway,
don't hang out with mean people. That's why. Why would you hang out with mean people, right?
I hang out with some really sweet people, really great people. So she's one of them. So okay, so let's get back to our books. So yeah, Catherine says, hi everyone. I also wrote a book. That's right. She is a book author.
Congratulations.
And that was her first hurdle. And so when we're talking about really making sure that we're doing what we're doing, when do we plan this strategy? Because I find a lot of people are like, Dr. Wright, I wrote my book, now what? And I'm like, where's your book? And they're like, all 10,000 of them are in the trunk of my car. Now,
oh, well, you don't have to have 10,000 anymore. That's one of the best things. You really start planning the sales of your book before you start writing it, because what you want your book to do for you is going to affect your marketing, and your marketing is going to affect what your book does for you. And just so Sharon knows, the average book in its lifetime sells fewer than 1,000 copies. So tell her 50 is a really good start. Don't feel bad about that, especially if she's just launched it. So there's more sales to be had. So on this, you start your marketing before or right alongside writing the book. And that is setting up an author page on social media. It's putting out teasers about your book. It's letting people know you've got a book coming out. It's making contacts, do your list of 100 people that you want to contact, that you want to be on their shows or their blogs or their podcasts. And you come up with that 100. And sometimes you put people on there that you would just love to be, like they're out of reach. Because if you don't go reaching for those, heck, you never know who's going to say yes to you. So have a goal list, and you have a list. I've heard people say do 50 or 100. I say make a list of 100 people who are social media influencers, who have podcasts, who have blogs, who have a TV show. And it can be I have a guy in my local market, Chris, who has a huge business owners meetup. And the thing has just been running for years. And to get to speak in front of his group is a great thing. And he does a PodFest in Orlando in February for all the podcasters. So he's always putting out events there for business development. And he's a great contact. So yeah, he's definitely on my list of 100 people that I'm going to contact when I've got a book out. So you have your target list. And that's one of the best things you can do as you're writing your book. Have that list and keep building it, and then reach out and start seeing what you can do to help them. If you were on my target list and I saw you promoting something, I'd share it on Facebook. If you didn't know who I was, you just go, that was nice, I shared that. And if I do it 3 times in 3 months, you're like, they've shared my stuff before. You start getting on their radar. I have a gal who shares my stuff all the time, and finally, we got talking, and she's an editor. And, there are certain things I don't edit. I don't do memoirs because they're just emotions and messy. And I'm like, I'm a repressed New Englander. I am so repressed. I can't handle other people's emotions, So, if someone's doing a memoir, I'm like, I don't do memoirs, but, go talk to Beth. She's awesome. And I'll send business to her. But she got on my radar because she kept sharing my stuff. So, let me
just stop you for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys hear the give? There wasn't an ask. Mm-mm. She kept sharing her stuff specifically because she wanted to get on the radar of Barbara. She wanted to be able to have a conversation. She wanted to be authentic. So you guys, here's your homework. Make a list of 5 people that you can share their stuff. They don't really know you. But you can find their stuff on Twitter, you can find their stuff on Facebook, and you can share it. You can share it. And at some point, you guys are going to have a conversation. Now, what you're not going to do is you're going to share it and go, hey, girl, Barbara, I shared it. Let's have a session. I want you. I want you to do X, Y, and Z. No, it's like a constant, consistent giving. Be a great resource.
It's fun. It's fun to help other people out, and it's fun to help other people succeed. I think people miss that because we're also worried about our businesses and kind of scratching out a living and making sure the rent is paid. But it's really fun when you help somebody out. And I'm one of those people. I'll encourage everybody because I figure, what the hell, why not, right? I had a girl come to me and she's like, I want to be a speaker. I'm like, well, I think you should really do that. You've got a story to tell. And I just wicked encouraged her. And she came to me like 2 or 3 years later. She's like, I won the thing at Toastmasters. And now I'm going out and I'm speaking. It's all because of you. I'm like, I don't even remember that conversation.
You're like, what's your name?
I knew her, but I couldn't remember that we had the conversation. But you know, okay. I always encourage people. But here's what I want to add to the homework. Now, and get 5 Facebook groups, and go join those Facebook groups and give good content to the people in those Facebook groups. Don't go in there and say, click my junk. Just keep adding value to that Facebook group. And I'm not saying go to a Facebook group with 10 people. What I like to do is I like to cross-reference the groups, and it used to be Yahoo forums. You remember those?
Yeah, those were awesome. That was one of the places where I actually built my crowdfunding expertise, but that's gone now. So.
Yeah, I know, but they were great. You could go into a group. What I did was I actually had a VA back in, 2006 or 7. I had them go through all the forums, and I said, I want forums on this subject with a minimum of this many people, and I want it to be active. So whatever the parameters were back then, and she went through and she found me 50 forums of people who actively participated, with a large number of people actively participating. So you can do it yourself or get a VA to do it. Have them go through Facebook groups on the topic that you are an expert in, and cross-reference the number of members and how active it is, because I'm in some groups with 3,000 members and nothing gets posted. And I'm in other groups.
And some people have large membership because they're just adding people to the group, and they're the only ones that post. Like, they're the only people that can post. I don't stay in those groups because, for the most part, if I can't put in and contribute, or if I contribute and it says your approval is pending, and I come back 2 weeks later and it's still pending, I'm out of that group.
I'm in that group with you.
It's just, that's not what I'm there for. I'm there for the group. And listen, those groups have a purpose. If that's what you're doing, it's a private group, you're teaching people, I get it. But that's not the kind of group where you're going to get business. Listen, the time is going by, and we only have about 12 minutes. So I want to go ahead and do biz dev. So if you guys would help Barbara out, she's not on her phone, and she can't bring up another tab because she's in here with me, and she doesn't want the echo that you guys would just go back. So here's the deal. Barbara, I need for you to give your Facebook link so that people can like your Facebook page. And then give them the website where they can find all those goodies. And what you're going to do is reiterate, for those who came late, if you just joined in, this is Dr. Wright. This is Media Mondays, and we're talking to Barbara Grassi about how to get your book out there and what you need to be doing and how to be a bestseller. We're going to share. Everybody's going to share their book, share your Facebook page. If you have a book, share your book link, share your business and what you need. So I'll start it off in that I will put in there Marquise Icon group, Marquise Icon page. I need likes on that page. What we do with the Marquise Icon is we take rising stars and turn them into business celebrities. And the book stuff is a part of that. The media training is what I do. I bring in people like her to do the book, to do the book stuff. And we get you out there to raise your profile. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for some photographers. You have to be in California to do that. And I'm looking for ambassadors for the group to help monitor the group so that when I'm on travel, you guys can get whatever you need from the group. So I would like for everybody else to start posting. And if you guys can post for Barbara, that'd be great. So Barbara's going to go next.
Okay. You can find me on Facebook at Barbara Grassi Book Coach. So that's real easy. And my website is barbaragrassi.com. What I'd love you to do is I have a live Q&A session the second Tuesday of the month. If you've got questions about your book, I'd love for you to come on the live Q&A. We do it as a Zoom meeting. I love Zoom, don't you?
I do love Zoom, especially now.
Awesome.
So many things with it. Yes.
I know. So barbaragrassi.com will get you there. Also, there's a 3-video free training on there, and there's a freebie on how to become an Amazon bestseller. And it's a card trick, people. Don't pay $4,000 for the weekend seminar. Thank you. So we'll do that.
For all those making their money on that weekend seminar, she just socked it to you, I guess.
Yeah. If you're going to spend $4,000 on a weekend seminar, make sure there's really good content. Make sure it's not just we're going to take your picture and make you look good. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So
Okay,
you guys, whoever's next, please go ahead and post. We want to support what you are doing. The Marquise Icon program, I'll just tell you about it. We're doing a group program where we're going to spend 8 weeks working on your profile. We're going to work on, number one, let's do an audit on your social media, see where you are, see what you need to do, see what kind of content, and we will also make some of the content for you. We're also going to be talking about what's your style and avatar. A lot of people have a very particular style in which they do their business. It's not the same style that they have at home, but you need to know what that is and how you move so that all of your marketing goes with you. For example, if your archetype is more of a king and a queen, if you start doing everyman advertising or marketing or content, it's not going to fit you. It's going to be a bad fit. And so it just helps you know what you need and helps you when you get people to work with you to figure out what it is you need in terms of content. So we have a lot of things to explore over the 8 weeks. The whole point is to get you more clients and customers, get you people who are willing to pay you, not people who are talking about they can't afford you, but people who can pay you do what it is you do. All of you have an expertise. All of you need media training. Again, even if you're just doing your own Facebook Live, you want to do it at a superior level. You don't want to do what everybody else is doing, sitting in the car, talking. That's ridiculous. Or walking, unless you're in fitness, you don't need to be doing that walking Facebook Live.
Thank you.
It's disgusting. Nobody likes that. So
we don't want to see you sweat.
Yeah, and you don't, unless you're too super fit, it's not cute to watch you sweat. So the whole thing is stop doing what everybody else is doing. Go over to marquiseicon.com. You can apply for the program. You can get all of the information. We're doing a group program. All of my private slots are full. I'm not taking any more private clients because I'm working on some other stuff. But if you want to be a part of the group program where we're all working together, I'd love to have you, help you raise your profile, get you ready for the Christmas holiday, and get your goals set for 2018.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. So let's see. I don't know if anybody else is posting in there, but that's okay. You guys will get around to it. If you're watching this on the replay, feel free to post where you see it and share and network and figure that all out. So we've got 6 minutes left. I'd love to just turn it over to you. Tell me what you think people should really be focused on for their book. I mean, is it time to get a book done before the end of the year? Let me ask you that really quick.
Yeah, you really can. You can. I've got the courses because people want a deadline. One, you need a deadline. Okay, you can't work without a deadline. I wrote a novel for 12 years. It is not a novel worthy of 12 years. Okay? It should have been like a 6-week novel. Okay? It's not that good. So if you have a deadline, that helps you get it done. And you can really get it done. This is October 2nd. You can get it done. I know the holidays are going to start taking people's attention. I would say you can probably get it done by January 31st if we allow for the holidays. And normally, I have a guy that I swear to goodness, he writes his books in about 2 weeks, and they kind of look like it. I like him a lot, but they're lead gen books, so they're not the be all and end all. But
yeah, they have a purpose. They have a purpose,
and they're very fast. If you have a blog or a podcast, you can take those. If it's a podcast, you can send it over to rev.com, which is my favorite transcription service. Get them transcribed, and you can work those into a book. So you already have material. If you've done a seminar and you have recordings of those, you can get those transcribed and use those for the materials for your book. So you can get your book done a little bit faster. You can get it done within 6 weeks, really. It takes time to write a quality book. So I go through like the first week, maybe 2 weeks is organizing, getting all the ideas set. And then one of the ways, and you were out at Dave Lacani's thing in Boise with me. Mm-hmm. That's where we met way back long ago. And remember, Dave has the 3-day method of writing a book, and we did it out there.
Yes.
And you write out your 10 or 12 chapters, and then you come up with 10 to 15 questions about that topic. And from there, you have somebody interview you. And let me tell you, you want somebody smart to interview you. Okay.
I had a friend that just went through the process, and what he told me is that he was not impressed with the interview process. And I knew that that's what it was. It was like the person was just going, and so next
Yes. Yeah, I had a guy whose wife was supposed to, because one of those things I'll do is I will interview you because I know to ask deeper questions and to say, can you explain that better? And what about this? So I know how to do that. And this guy said, no, my wife will do it for me. He was looking to save a few dollars, even though he said he was making $100,000 a flip. So his wife did the first chapter with him, and then she got about halfway through the second chapter, and she was not interested. So then he read the questions to himself and responded, no, not good.
That was the worst show ever. I'm going to ask my own question, and I'm going to
let me talk to me. Oh, no, what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
and then, you know,
on that show, we're going to pass on.
We're going to pass on. So when you have somebody interviewing you that's smart, they can dig deeper. And if it's somebody that you enjoy, they can bring out your personality. So I would say, you know, grab coffee or a couple of glasses of wine or some beers, and you can, over the course of, and really, you don't want to do more than a couple of hours at a time. You can have your friend interview you, and you can get your book out verbally. It's really hard to put your butt in the chair and type for 40 or 50 or 60,000 words.
A disciplined person. There's a few people that can do that, and they do it on a regular basis.
Yes.
Interview method is easier, but also the person has to be really clear about their thoughts, because
yes,
you have somebody who's all over the place, or who speaks in broken sentences, who doesn't complete their thought, who hops to another thought. All of that is going to be transcribed, and then the editor has to figure out what the person was trying to say. So it also depends upon your cognitive, you know, where you are mentally on how to do this, because if you're, you know, not your best, you're grieving, there's a lot of different reasons why your mind might be a little bit scattered, but that's not
right
to be doing
exactly
that project.
Right. And that's where the questions really help you out, because they keep you on track like a PowerPoint would do. And then, as you said, the editing process, and you can edit your own work, but then you need to send it to somebody else. And I edit a lot of books, and even the best writers need an editor. I need an editor. And my favorite example is I was reading a Patricia Cornwell novel. Do you read Patricia Cornwell?
I don't.
Ah, she's awesome. You'd like her. And it's a Simon & Schuster, it's a Putnam book. So that's one of the big publishing companies. On page 8, there was a typo. Page 8. Now, towards the back of the book, you can understand because people get tired and they're kind of skimming. Page 8. And that book had to have gone through, I don't know how many admins. It had to have gone through how many editors. Everybody at the company must have read it because it was their new book.
It was
page 8.
Nobody caught that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But here's the thing.
Time is up though, and so give them the website one more time, and then we're going to go ahead and log off.
Perfect. It's barbaragrassi.com. And thank you so much for having me on the show. This is so much fun.
Absolutely. This has been a ball. I want to have you out for the real Right Place TV show.
I would love to.
In California, come out here and hang out with us.
I want to go to Grand Cayman.
Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, we got to go to do Catherine's show. That's her show. So listen, you guys, this will be available up if you're watching the replay. Thank you so much. If you guys missed it, it's also going to be posted on my YouTube channel, and so you can subscribe and get it there. And of course, it's going to be at rightplacetv.com. So there's like a million places that you can watch this. This is some good information. This is not what people will tell you typically. And so I say, listen to it again, write yourself some notes, and do it. So thank you so much for joining me. Remember, ignoring one's conscience is neither safe nor right. And I'll see you guys next time. Matter of fact, next week.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye. I have to figure out how to turn this off.
Just hover over.